for the future, it's going to be about the human. Financial planning is going to have to be more human. And I think as financial planners has got to rethink how are we going to matter? How are we going to bring a more meaningful way of dealing with our clients? And that's exciting.
Welcome to episode 60 of the Innovating Advice Show. If you've been wondering about upskilling beyond a CFA or CFP designation, and you want to work more on the human side of money and increase your soft skills, this episode is for you. I'm joined by Mariette Tappan, who holds the distinction of being the first Certified Financial Transitionist in South Africa. We chat about what a Certified Financial Transitionist, which is a designation from the Financial Transitionist Institute, does, and why, after more than 25 years as a financial planner, Mariette was prompted to go down this path after having 5 clients pass away in 1 year. This episode is not an ad for the Institute or the designation. Rather, it's a look at the importance of always upskilling, even after decades in the profession, and the growing importance of being skilled in the human side of money in addition to the technical side. Links, show notes, and full transcript at innovatingadvice.com or directly through the link below. You're listening to the Innovating Advice Show, and I'm your host, Kate Holmes, bringing you the global pulse on financial services innovation, featuring financial planners, financial advisors, and related professionals from all corners of the globe. Let's dive in. Goedemiddag, Mariette.
Goeiemiddag, Kate. Baie lekker om op jou show te wees.
Well, you said all of that far better than I did, but that is a fantastic greeting in Afrikaans. So can you share with us what all you just said?
I was just saying that it is a good afternoon, Kate, and it is absolutely wonderful to be on your show, which is actually an English word. But I thought I'll just slip that in there. We in South Africa, we tend to sometimes mix our language a little bit,
Yes. Well, I love it. That's beautiful. Well, thank you for being here. And Mariette, as you and listeners know, I'm always on the lookout for fantastic women that are blazing a trail in financial services, that are doing great things. And you are a fantastic example of that. And you are the first certified financial transitionist in the African continent. So let's start with sharing with us, what does it mean to be a certified financial transitionist?
Thank you, Kate. Yes, being a certified financial transitionist means that we concentrate on the human side of money. And we all know that when we go through changes of life and things that is a little bit upside down, we tend to be emotional about it. And we, as transitionist, learn that we cannot just focus on the technical side of things. When our clients go through transition, we have to focus on the human side as well. So, and our motto and our protocol is that we like to make sure that our clients are calm and they've got a real good balcony view of what they're doing, and then to really co-create with them their plans and their futures and their dreams and aspirations.
So it sounds like it's sort of building on the technical knowledge that you would get from like a CFA or becoming a certified financial planner professional. And so is it correct that you have to actually hold one of those globally recognized designations in order to become a certified financial transitionist?
Yes, the criteria is quite strict, that you have to have, one of those qualifications, CFA, CFP, and you have to have at least a minimum of 5 years of practical experience. So what we are saying is that although the human side of financial planning is important, the technical side of the planning going together with it is as important. The one cannot go without the other.
Yeah, definitely. So how does the process differ? I mean, do they truly line up the skills for each, or is there some differences in how they're approached?
I think when I started out in the Institute, we focus on the human side. So I think we as certified financial planners have got all the technical skills that we require to make and to help a client go through financial decisions. But I think the industry calls for a skill set, a new skill set on the human side of things. And statistics show, and I think it was an article done by the Gallup Institute, that 70% of your decision making is based on emotions. So, if that is true, which I, which I believe those statistics show, requires new skills. And I don't think that we, certainly when I went through my training, that was a very, very small part of my training as a certified financial planner. So those skills, learning how to listen carefully, how to speak with your clients, and having deeper conversations, and really hearing what the client has to say is a different is a different skill set. In the beginning, it was very difficult for me to keep quiet because we, as financial planners, we tell our clients, this is the best plan, this is the best way, and we advise in that sense a way. But when you really get into the habit of finding out who is your client, what are they really going through, speaking to them about their narratives, about their lives, what is forefront on their mind, you then have to keep quiet. And, even those silent pieces can be quite uncomfortable. It is where your client have to discover what is going on in their mind. And for us, not to put words in their mouths and let them think through what is really happening with them, so that we as financial planners can actually understand more deeply what is it that we are dealing with and what do we hear and how can we serve this client that is going through this life-changing event in a better way and meet them where they are.
Yes. So, Mariette, one of the conversations that's kind of happening, especially among people coming into the profession, whether you're a career changer or you're coming out through university, is almost starting to wonder if that coaching and listening side, like you just said, 70% of the decisions are emotional. And you even alluded to the fact that you almost have to untrain yourself as an advisor or planner from, being taught to share the information and tell clients what to do and give advice. This idea that perhaps that coaching, listening, emotional side should almost become the foundation going forward, because the technical stuff can be taught. And of course, you have to have that technical knowledge. But rather than learning the technical and unlearning the process for doing that, it's this shift that I think we're seeing in terms of which side is going to be more important going forward.
I agree with you, and I think it is, for me. It was a must. It was, I wanted to do more for my clients, and for that you need to upskill yourself. You need to read more. You need to learn more. You need to find out, those other softer skills that are actually think moves people to make the right decisions, and for the decisions that they make to stick. Like Dr. Moira Summers refers to in a book, Advice That Sticks. Because I think if we don't listen carefully and if we don't know why the client is making certain decisions and helping them through it in a mind, to change maybe their mindset in the way that they think about things, and to really guide them, to help them through a process of naming things and owning things and then using things. Mindset skills like that helps the client go through difficult times, where if you just use your technical skills, the chances of you losing your client and not giving advice that is, I think advice can always be good, but I would just say it might not be appropriate for the client at that point in time to move forward. They might need more time to think. They might not be ready, because everything is also about creating a space, a calm space for your client to move forward when they are ready, not when you are ready.
Yeah.
And I think, that is a big difference for us in a traditional type of setup, where we go in and we want to bring solutions and it's got to be done now.
So, Mariette, how long have you been a financial planner?
This year, I would be going into my 28 years of being a planner.
That's incredible. And when did you become a certified financial transitionist?
I got my certification about 3 years ago.
So, like you just said, even after all of this experience that you have, you're still continually trying to improve and evolve and learn new skills. That's incredible.
Kate, I tell you what, the more I learn, the more I know that I know little. I don't know enough. And what moved me to do this course was, in 1 year, I've lost 5 of my very dear clients, in a very short period of time. And I was very fortunate that during my 27, 28 years of being a financial planner, I didn't have a lot of deaths. I had a lot of trauma cases, I had disability cases, and actually it was more my own family that passed on than my clients. But when I had to deal with these widows, and I sat there with a mouth full of nothingness to say, and also tears in my eyes sometimes, I realized that I had to do more. I had to bring more. I had to upskill myself to be able to just to rock up there much more confident in those emotional skills than just only bringing the technical skills. And I think I cannot stress enough how important the work is that we do as financial advisors, and especially women. We've got a sixth sense of dealing with our clients, but most of the times we can do with a good set of tools and a good set of skill sets that can just make us better and help us serve our clients better in a time where they are really going through a lot of stress factors or struggles. And sometimes we need to learn more. We definitely have to learn more, and I think there's so much more for me to learn about this skill set as I go along, because it is all in the practice, and it is all in going through the client with the journey as we go through our journey with them. So we both learn.
Yes. Oh, and that would have been so hard, losing 5 clients in 1 year. And obviously, that's a huge financial and life transition, but life is full of financial transitions, whether they're planned or unplanned. So, when you think about the work of a certified financial transitionist, is it specific to those bigger things like just losing a loved one, or is it through all of life's financial transitions?
I think our work applies to all life transitions, and transitions doesn't need to just be a struggle. It can be a wedding. It can be a birth of a child. It can be a positive transition. So transitions can be anything from, as I mentioned, a wedding to a loss of a loved one, a retirement. divorce,
Winning the lottery.
winning the lottery especially. And well, I haven't been fortunate to deal with any of those, but I would certainly, what I think what moved Susan Bradley, that is the founder of the foundation, what moved her to start the foundation was that one of her friends, which is an attorney, mentioned the fact that a lot of people that has got a windfall or that has got sudden money end up with no money or very little money after a very short period of time. And so for us as financial planners, it is our job to make sure that we're there to guide our clients and to make sure that they make good life decisions. So yes, the lotto would certainly be a great uh, a great excitement for me to work with that winner, and to make sure that the money ends up at the right places according to their goals.
Well, and so often it doesn't. I mean, we know the research behind winning the lottery. So many people wind up, like you said, with no money and they go bankrupt and they spend it all. So there's so much going on in, I guess, the human brain and heart when it comes to financial and life decisions. And, part of what is studied at the institute is around neuroscience, physiology, sociology, psychology, huge range of topics and areas of study. So how is that all brought together in what you do as a certified financial transitionist, and what does some of that work look like?
Well, to my previous point, when our clients go through transition, it goes hand in hand with stress factors, and sometimes, or stress doesn't need to be a negative. Stress can be a positive way, and if we use the right techniques and the things that we've learned, work from Carol Dweck on the way of mindset, and Alia Crum around the how it actually shifts. So those are some of the work that that we use together with the work of Moira Summers. We also focus on Dan Siegel's and his work of interpersonal neurobiology. So there's all these overlapping, science and positive psychology and neuroscience and psychological research that actually helps us with the work that we do. So for us, it is a constant process to find out, how these gel into each other and how it can help to help our clients with their mindsets and helping them making better decisions. Because as you so say, that decisions actually starts from the heart and the mind. And how do we help them then to take the right action, but for themselves, So it's a guiding process. And understanding humans is very difficult as it is. So I think just knowing a little bit more can make our work so much more rewarding. And not only just rewarding, but rewarding for our clients and giving them great experiences of working in a different way with financial planning. And that's what I see on a regular basis, or with most of my even existing clients, bringing a new way to to my practice and new way of engaging with them. It just deepens the relationship, and that is actually what I want: is those real rewarding relationships with my clients that I can see that we're getting somewhere. We've achieved something together, or they have in themselves journeyed through a transition and a change, and they got out on the other hand and the other side as better people, ready for the next transition.
Yes. And that is an intense list of topics and areas that you covered. That is so far beyond sort of the minimum regulatory requirement that it takes to be an advisor in so many countries. That's a lot.
Yeah, I think for the future, it's going to be about the human. Financial planning is going to have to be more human. And I think as financial planners has got to rethink how are we going to matter? How are we going to bring a more meaningful way of dealing with our clients? And that's exciting, especially even with the current situation where we need to learn new skills and technology. And, that in itself, with technology, nothing can take away the human side of who we are and what we do and how we make decisions and how we want to be treated.
Yes.
So,
yeah, couldn't agree more. So, when should people engage a certified financial transitionist? Should it be waiting until you're going through some major transition?
well, preferably not. I think we all are in a current state of anticipation in many times of our lives. We anticipate, that we want to retire. We anticipate that, we may something, unforeseen might happen with us. So I think that what I've learned in the last couple of months specifically is how important the preparedness is of our clients. So, there's a lot of work that we do in the anticipation stage that leads up to a specific event. And the stages that we take our clients through is through anticipation stage, and then there's the ending, where there's no turning back. And I would actually say that during this time of COVID, it's ending. There's no turning back. Life is going to change going forward. Or, when there's, when the money comes in. So there's a death of a spouse, the money comes in. There's an ending. There's no way that you can turn back. And that's where the client needs a different skill set in terms of making decisions, because they are totally overwhelmed with all the things that needs to happen, like we do right now. And then we journey further through this process with our client, where we've now handled all the busyness, all the lists have been done, and now things have got to happen in a different way. So that goes through a passage phase that we call, and that's where a lot of things happen, because you can go through that for quite some time. Some of my widowers go through that phase for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And how do you then equip your client to stick to their decision making and to help them guide through going into a new normal, what we call. And a new normal is where you're excited and where you've got a new list, a new zest of life, and you've overcome what you have been going through. So answering your question as to when does our clients need to make contact with us, I just see the statistics that when clients have got good advisors, they are able to go through difficult times easier, to stick to their plans, and to maintain their wealth and to be more wealthy than clients that don't have advice. So I think it is important to get advice. We can choose the type of advice that we have, but I think advice is always helping you to make better decisions.
Yeah, and coupling that journey with the human side, I would anticipate there are a lot of tough conversations happening throughout. Before the transition, during, once you hit that end phase, lots of tough conversations bringing in the human side.
I'm so glad you bring that, that difficult conversations up, Kate, because I think that is one of the things that is so difficult, but so necessary. And with guiding clients through these difficult conversations, managing their expectations, for example, better. And, asking the husband and wife, where would you like to retire? And having them fill in those a little bit of a worksheet separately or having those discussions separately, you find out that they've got total different expectations. And, then to have that, to actually help them journey that together and rather sort out those difficult conversations beforehand. And scenario planning is extremely important in this in this work that we do as financial planners, and not just only as certified, as transitionist planners, but running our clients through scenarios will help them with their thinking. And what do we want to do? We actually want them to create their own solutions just by listening to them and leading them through good questions. And that is, I think, such a skill is those questions, and having those questions ready and leading the clients then through different type of difficult conversations, and be there for them. Just guide them through that, and the satisfaction of seeing how people actually get a wow, okay, well, it's possible, or wow, we never would have thought about it on our own, and this has made such a big difference. That is what the work is that we're supposed to be doing. The money side comes with it in any event, but it is that, oh my goodness, I never thought about that. And that made all the difference in our lives, or my life, or the lives of our children, and building a legacy for our children, and having those type of really meaningful conversations that can bring us closer to helping the client really living a fulfilled and financial life, and I call it, their well-being is being spoken to. So, when you're able to get to those deeper levels of conversation and having them achieve that through, just as a guide, as a holding their hands, I think that is what we strive for. We strive for financial well-being. We want to live fulfilled lives. We want to have meaningful lives. We want to have a quality life. And, I think that's financial planning for me.
Yes. So when you were talking about sort of the husband and wife looking at what they want their retirement to look like and having different ideas, that sort of made me think, what about differences in how men and women approach or handle major transitions?
That's always interesting questions when you talk about the mind of a woman and the mind of a man, and how they would go through transitions differently. The fact that women are more, I would say, and I'm now being careful in I'm not branding or identifying it specifically, but I think that women are more emotional when it comes to financial decision making. And a lot of us have not been made part of the process and have got a lot of behavioral sabotaging thoughts around, dealing with our finances as women. While men, on the other hand, think more, and I think, a lot of my male clients say, Mariette, I think in boxes, so, leave it be. When it comes to these softer issues, men tend to shy away a little bit. But what I found in dealing with the tools available when you deal with with clients, having these methodologic methods and structures and processes that you go through, men tend to be as comfortable with that as women. But I think it is women are more open to these type of conversations as men would be. Because for them, a lot is on the left-hand side of the brain, and maybe, for women on the right-hand side. But I am not generalizing per se, but that has certainly been my experience in the 27 years that I've been in the industry. Interesting enough, when looking at the amount of males and females that is transitionist planners, it's almost an equal figure. So it is an absolute delight to see that men and more men is looking at the financial coaching, financial life planning side, and realizing that we can talk about more than just the bottom line figures on, life insurance or retirement planning and all those things. So I hope I've answered your question in that way, Kate, because it's always a bit of a difficult question when it comes to men and men and women. But we are definitely different, and we complement each other. And I think these combined conversations between husbands and wives are so important. And I find that that if the man is more financially orientated and the woman understands it, there's a great match. But it needs to be discussed. I always say, who is the Minister of Finance in the house? And, because I think we all have got our strengths that we have to play to, and we have to respect how we think about money. And discovering money stories is a total different topic in itself.
Yes. Well, and we do know that women are still abdicating more and more of the finances in a household to a man, where it is a woman and man household. And even though women are great at making financial decisions, we're seeing that they're still saying, okay, I'm going to let the man handle it all. And they don't always have those tougher conversations that you were talking about. And even when, men are open to it, it just doesn't seem to happen enough. So what have you seen, if anything, within the profession, which we know is male dominated in financial services around the world, where the men that are in financial services and the conversations that they're having with their wives or girlfriends?
Well, Kate, that is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and that is women taking back their power when it comes to financial decisions, and to be aware of what is going on, so that they are, that they really are empowered and know what is going on. I had an interesting conversation with a group of my male colleagues, and I was asking them exactly the same question: is when last did you have a conversation with your wife about your money? And it goes something like, if the wife doesn't want to talk about money, you the financial advisor, so everything is going to be fine, and I just trust you. So phone XYZ. And I think it boils down to how and why do you not want to have these conversations? How were you brought up? Were you brought up with a fear of money? Was there a scarcity? Is there abundance? Was there abuse? What happened in your childhood life that you are afraid to sit your husband down, or your husband you, and have these tough conversation about money? So I think there's still in today a lot of avoidance as to men and females not wanting to discuss their finances open.
Yeah.
How to overcome that is really with having the conversation. Is how's things going? How am I feeling about money? What is my feeling towards money? And naming those feelings and those fears, and dealing through it. Go work through it. And sometimes there's deeper need for other conversations, maybe not that we as financial advisors can sort out, but I think if I see the hardships of women that hasn't spoken to their husbands about, are they going to be okay, and show me and help me to know where is what and what must I do and where must I go look for what and who must I phone, what is your PIN codes, where is your secret folder, etc., etc. It is hard enough to lose a loved one to unforeseen death, let alone having to deal with all the paperwork, which is totally in a mess, or which could be in order, but you don't understand what is going on. So I really always encourage my my clients' wives to be present in our conversations and not to be scared, because in the previous, when I started out in the industry, Kate, women sometimes were not even, you go make the tea or those type of things. I just refuse. If the wife is not present in the conversation, I just sit until she's present,
Right.
because I think we cannot avoid it. We have to, as advisors, actually be very firm when it comes to the planning of husbands and wife together.
Yes. So you just alluded again to how long you've been in this profession and what you've seen change over the last nearly 30 years. So with that and seeing where the future is headed, being more human, what advice would you have to women that are in this profession that maybe are still seeing a lot of the old ways of doing things and thinking, I want to move to this human side, or I'm not being given the opportunities, I'm still being asked to just go get the coffee. What advice would you have to them?
I would tell them that this is absolutely the best time to be a woman in the financial industry. I would advise them to find out exactly who they are and what is it that they really want to do, and who is the audience that they want to serve. And absolutely, I always want to use the word shove away all these old ways of having been told that this is the way to do it and that is the way to do it, and put on your little skirt and your stockings and look like you're in a you're a financial advisor in brackets, and just go out and be yourself. Find a niche of what makes you happy. And I speak to a lot of women advisors that has come to a point in their career where they're passionate about the human side and in helping them clients, but they are totally frustrated and tired of the old ways of doing things. And I say, well done. It's time for change, and this is the right time. Use your creative juices. We women have got so much more to give in a way to do it for women. Having retreats, having walks, having pain days, having speaking to women in, take them on a travel trip to Italy and cycling on bicycles, or whatever tickles your fancy, but don't let your skills and your talents to be able to speak to the hearts of people, men and women, about their finances, be locked away, or don't give up, or do something different, because I think women are needed in the industry. As you can hear, I get extremely passionate about that, Kate, because we women have been overlooked on the expertise and the passion that we can bring and change the industry. That is in a good way,
Fantastic. Couldn't have said it better. Mariette, thank you so much for being here, for all that you've done over the last nearly 30 years, for reminding everyone to continue upskilling, learning new things, always evolving, always just trying to learn more and go out there and continue doing it, and for your passion for more women in the profession. It's been fantastic having you. Any final thoughts?
I just want to commend you for what you're doing and bringing people all over the world, especially women, and giving a voice to women in the industry, and to make us realize that we need to collaborate. We can share, we can learn. There is so much that we can bring to the people out there, but not only to the people out there, but between ourselves. I think that we underestimate the power of women working together and learning from each other and embracing each other's uniqueness. And I want to thank you for doing that. And I thank you for being for being on your show and on your podcast, and being able to talk about the little bit of my 28 years in the financial industry. And I'm looking forward to being a woman in this industry for the future, because I think there's great things to come.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. Wonderful, Mariette. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to the Innovating Advice Show. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me a thought or two. Link to my profile is right below. Stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to hearing from you.